we'll jump straight into our songwriting question. And this is one, I wanted to ask this as kind of like for a selfish reason, because lyrics aren't my strong point. I have to be in the mood to write a song. I have to be even more in a mood to write lyrics. Something that doesn't come naturally to me. Again, what we were just saying with collaboration, just so important, especially for this for me. So what we asked this week, songwriting, how do you write your lyrics? And we got some great answers.
For me, when it comes to writing music, or how I write my lyrics is I like to be in a space where I feel like I'm away from everything. So I actually don't like writing on my laptop or anything like, 'cause I feel like there's a constant like distraction that's trying to get away, like whether it's social media or YouTube or music, like other music videos or a live concert. I just feel like for me, I like just sitting in a room, I like to lock myself away most of the time with just a guitar, pen and paper, and just kind of go, okay, what am I trying to write? And just kind of reflect. That's what I do a lot with most of my writing. And like it just, for me, it just allows me to get really personal to myself and what I'm really feeling and what my emotions are and this and that. And that's really where I like to write at.
I can completely relate there, because most of my lyrics will come out when I'm like secluding myself away from everyone and not locking myself in a room, but yeah, I can totally relate there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that I can do it as well. I have to be completely alone and just be left to my thoughts and have a direction. So great. I think that was Jordan Mode, Taylor Mode. Yeah. So thanks for that,
Taylor
Jordan.
Mode.
Completely agree.
Completely agree. Next one up from Clinton.
So, first off, one of the most important things that I like to try and keep in mind when songwriting is not to force anything, not to try too hard. But aside from that, I mean, every song is different, and the way it is written, whether it's a Friday, Saturday night with a little bit of whiskey, just relaxing in my studio, trying to come up with something, or it's going in at it with a concept already in mind and just, strumming along, humming what you find that melody, and then building around that. But in the sense of standard and how I write, like I said, every song is different, and I just try to make it as simple but relatable as possible.
Love that. A little bit of cheeky whiskey.
Oh, mate. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And again, Clinton is the kind of dude I just want to hang out with and just sit down and be like, right, let's write a song. Grab the whiskey.
Let's bash one out.
I do want to send just thank you to Clinton. I wanted him to be on the show a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately he had COVID. So luckily he's all better now. But I just wanted to say thank you, dude, for hanging in there and being part of this week's show. Super happy to have you, and
totally.
I would love to hang out one day. You sound like my kind of dude. So
Tom will provide the whiskey.
Yeah, I will.
Right, next one up from Gail.
Hello, my name is Gail Borowitz. You had asked me about how I write lyrics. I've written since I was a child, grew up in a pretty bad home, and I've always written for therapy. And a lot of times I just think about what I want to say, and then I say it, and I whittle away at it, and I go over it and over it and over it again until I whittle out all the things that I don't want, and until I have it flowing and right and powerful and everything I want it to be. Thank you.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Thank you, Gail.
So she's like finessing her story until she just gets it to hit so right, and I think a lot of people relate to that. Yeah,
using it as therapy
as well. Yeah, totally.
I mean, yeah, just write your problems down, turn it into a song. Love that. Thanks, Gail.
Thank you so much, Gail. That was fantastic. Next one from Avea.
So I've been kind of writing on top of my production as I create. And as I produce, I just write lyrics on top of what I'm producing, which has been so much fun and is so much more liberating, I think, than creating a structured piano piece. And I just love doing it much more that way. So that's how I've been writing. So writing lyrics, there's usually one of two ways that I go about it. Number one is that I just have an emotion that I feel very strongly and I want to get it off my chest. And so when I'm writing, usually I'm a very visual person. The way I write is just very visual. I tend to visualize my emotions as some sort of painting or portrait, something that I can see in front of me in some way. So that's how I tend to describe I tend to describe any sort of situation as just changing it from being a kind of surface emotion to being something that's more tactile. So that's how I tend to, switch it around. I tend to make something that seems like a simple emotion into kind of a physical representation through visuals. So there's that. That's usually how I do number one. Number two is I rely on word ammo, which is I will find a word that I really like or like a phrase that I really like, and I will log them in my phone, and I just have lists and lists of just words and phrases and different feelings that I have logged away. And if I get writer's block, I kind of pick and choose, and I see what works, and I insert them, and I see if they rhyme, and I work from there. So that's basically the very long rundown of how I set up my stuff. I'm very sorry if it's not more professional.
That sounds professional to me.
Yes,
I mean, that's how you write a song. I mean, Avea, first of all, has still got... We featured Avea on the show a while ago now, and her song Pathetic is still one of my favourite songs we've listened to. And it's interesting that she said visual, because if you've seen the music video for her track Pathetic, it's very visual, and it's very
visual,
artsy and very artistic. So I love that. And, I mean, I do the same thing with my notes on my phone. I know friends of mine carry journals of just song titles. And then one day the mood will strike and they'll look at one's title and it'll trigger an emotion. And then they can sit down and write about it. So thank you for your very in-depth answer. Loved it.
Yeah, loved that. Fantastic. Really good insight. Thank you so much. Next one is from our very own Shayla, who already we featured on the show with her music earlier. So let's see what she's got to say.
Hi, this is Shayla McDaniel. I'm a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist based in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm responding to your How Do You Write Lyrics question on Instagram. Normally, well, really, I can't say normally. It's different every time. If I start the song from a phrase that I like, I usually write the melody for that phrase and then add the chords under it. But sometimes when I sit down to write, especially when I don't have the words for a specific emotion, I tend to write chords and then kind of make up stuff and sing over that and come up with lyrics. Other times, I write all the lyrics to a song like on paper and then try to put it to music after that. But my favorite is when all the lyrics and the music come out together at the same time. Also, I'm a huge fan of Pat Patterson's lyric worksheet, especially when I'm stuck. You brain dump on a topic, make a list, find a bunch of synonyms, and then find a bunch of rhyming words for it. I like it because it makes finding words easier.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Me neither. I'm going to have to Google that.
Check that
Patterson's lyric worksheet. I'm going to, thank you, Shayla.
There we go. With
lovely little tip.
That's some knowledge. Drop some knowledge there, Shayla.
Drop the knowledge bomb.
Dropping knowledge. Love that. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Again, great insight. Great, we've had such a good variation of techniques there. From writing to production, to starting with chords, to having word notes or word ammo, I think she called it. There's a range of techniques in here, and it's just so good to hear a variation there, because it just re-emphasizes what me and Tom bang on every single week about, which is it's yours to make. So there's no right or wrong answer here, I don't think.
I mean, yeah, I would agree. It's great to hear other people's takes on it, and it's something that everyone's going to do differently. So what I take from that is just tips and techniques and stuff that I'll try and implement myself, and it'll either work for me or it won't. So that's what we should be taking away from that. So thank you for those answers, guys. That was amazing to hear from someone that struggles
Love
with
it,
lyrics.
guys.